everyone. I'm glad that you guys were able to make it. We are going to talk about how to set up QuickBooks online. One of the things on my prior class, I gave like a brief overview of QuickBooks, but I think I wanted to focus on some of the important things that we should know before we set up a client online. And these are the things that we should ask ourselves before, like setting up a client, because as you know, there are different kind of industries. There, the size of the companies are different. Sometimes it's just the owner. Sometimes it's, 2-3 people or more. So it's very important that we acknowledge this before setting up, the client on QuickBooks Online. That will save us a lot of like time and, like going back and, to find out what we were supposed to set up in QuickBooks. So I think I wanted to give this important, information about that before setting up. So, okay, so when I make a PowerPoint slide here, like client needs assessment tools. So we always have to ask ourselves first, like who, what, when, and how. So I put here like the different things that we need to ask with the who actually. So one of the things are like the legal aspect of the business of a particular client. Like what legal tax entities, it is an LLC, it is an S corp. So what kind of entity it is. Also, we need to ask ourselves about the accounting year end, like the fiscal year, if it's going to be April or by the end of the year, December. Another thing is that the business history or profile. I don't know if it's a wholesale business, how this business began. Is it new? It has years in the market. So all the information about the business, like business history, it says it's very important. As I said, unique industry. So what kind of industry this client is. Growing enterprise, mission, vision, values, business goals. What are the goals of setting up QuickBooks Online? What this client is looking for? What is their goal? Obviously to keep their finances straight, accurate as possible in order to file taxes by the end of the year, and and also for them to keep everything organized in one thing. So QuickBooks is a really friendly software, I will believe, for these clients that are looking to, that want to keep their business in one place. Also, the what. The what is reporting requirements, like do they need a balance sheet on a daily basis, a profit and loss, a trial balance, or the forecasting? If you want to go beyond, like more complex reports, do they need like a forecasting? Is inventory involved in their business? So all these things, I think they might be helpful, like reporting requirements. Daily operations. I have different kind of clients on QuickBooks Online, and some of them don't need like to be updated every day. Like I can wait 2 weeks, let's say, depending on the amount of transactions, the amount of information that requires on a daily basis. Some big industries, you know, usually inventory, maybe, you know, more than 20 people, they need like, you know, transactions to be updated every day. So I would say like daily operations. The sales and customer workflows. So this is another important thing. Like, are they gonna invoice their clients? Do they need an invoice for that? Or it's just a sales or just a sales receipt? So we need to know how they want to invoice their clients. It's very important this because that's how, you know, they will get the money into the business. So I think this is very, very important when we set up a client on QuickBooks. Administrative tasks, you know, like you can ask the client how its business flow is. Sometimes they have an administrative person doing certain things. It's very important this because usually the client itself don't want to get involved in these things, accounting, you know, aspects. So they have an administrative person, and that person usually send us the invoices or a receipt of what they sell. So it's very also important to communicate on these things. Accounting software and processes. Some of the clients, have been using other softwares before, and they want to change to QuickBooks. So some clients start from scratch, and it's easier to set up that way. But some of the others have, you know, other softwares, and then we have to basically export that information to QuickBooks Online. Okay, so now the when. When, for instance, compliant, unfilled deadlines, usually the accountant is the person who has that information. So you might want to reach your client's accountant, talk with your client first and ask them, you know, like if you could communicate with their client, or if they can ask their accountant to give you like prior information about taxes, like prior file taxes. So we see like income tax needs, estimated tax needs. All of that information usually has the accountant. Payroll taxes. Do the clients run payroll through a third party, or do they run it through QuickBooks? How do they do that? And when do we have to pay taxes for payroll, for instance? Is tax requirements as well? Industry-related compliance requirements. When do we have to achieve all these requirements and complete it? How is run a discovery session using the client checklist? I have a spreadsheet that is very useful that I downloaded from QuickBooks. I'm gonna show you by the end of the class this spreadsheet because I think it's very, very, as I said, crucial before setting up a client on QuickBooks. Then when we have and collect all the information from the client, we follow an onboarding process. So that's when we start like setting up all the information needed, basic information, profile, and all that, like, you know, basic stuff. How? Plan in 30, 60, and 90-day deliverables. So, you know, obviously, as soon as we put all the information in, it's better. But then you can plan, like, if you have multiple clients, you can say, okay, I'm gonna plan in 30 days to have completed to collect all the information for this client and, you know, have like a timeline. Design workflows that fit operations and tech stacks built for collaboration. As I said, some of the clients also have like some, you know, tech person that handles all the stuff for the clients. So you might want to ask all these things, you know, like what are the specific tasks that each person in the company does. Delegate bases and strengths, and assign, delegate bases and strengths, basically to delegate how are you gonna work with your client in QuickBooks? Like, is the client gonna, I don't know, like invoice the clients, or you are gonna invoice the clients? Because some clients prefer to do that by themselves, and they just want you to do the reconciliation, pay their bills. So everything depends on the, you know, on the client. Assign and take action. So yeah, that's what actually what I just said. So I think, you know, this is very meticulous, but I think it's important because sometimes we could miss certain things when we are learning QuickBooks Online. So if you have any questions about this, you know, let me know. Oh. Okay, yes, I see 2 messages. Can you send me the note after the lecture? Yes.
The presentation will be available, or the video will be available online in the student portal and on YouTube.
Okay, great. That's great.
Here we have a question. What do you mean setting up the client?
Yeah, I mean, like when you are, you know, putting the client into QuickBooks Online. When you get a client for the first time and you want to set that client online, that's what I mean, like setting up the client online in QuickBooks, like enrolled, like enroll the client in QuickBooks Online. For those who speak Spanish, what I mean is like ingresar o poner al cliente en QuickBooks Online, o sea, ingresarlo como un cliente fijo. I can actually show you my QuickBooks so you know what I meant by that. Let's see.
Well, usually it's like you have to put in their address, contact information.
Yeah.
Their phone number, their email.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes even give them a number for the system.
Yeah, that's right. Just like the basic information.
But you want to just, so you want to be able to pull up their name and then just have it like from a drop-down list. You pull up their name or search for their name easily and then fill out their information. Whether it's a payment, an invoice, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that's what I meant by that. I'm gonna show you guys. So I'm just seeing here some questions. Do you mean creating the client's accounts? Yes, so that's what I meant. Yes. Create the client's, client's account. Okay. Just making sure that I'm not missing any questions. Okay. Okay. Following my, I mean, Is there any more questions or?
I do not see any more questions.
Okay. Okay, so I can just go ahead. All right, so the second PowerPoint that I created, and I'm probably like, you know, repeating myself on some stuff, but I think it's very, you know, I've learned QuickBooks Online like 13 years ago that I wish I could have learned in a way that, you know, like it will make everything easier, like to have known some stuff from advance, you know, in advance. So that's why I just want to make sure that you guys, you know, understand as much as possible before going into, you know, the actual software. Okay. So the second slide that I create, it says work section in QuickBooks Online Accountant. This is where we need to go to gather all the information from our client. So as we have talked about that before, meeting the client and gathering information. But when we gather information, it's just not about 4 things. You know, I used to think that it was just like 5 things that I need to know, and that was it. But it was not the case, because later on, you know, it came out some other questions or some other information about taxes, like it was saying like compliance and all that stuff. So that's why I just want to make sure that this is very clear before doing anything else. So once you gather all the client's information, you recommend the best QuickBooks Online solution or the best subscription. You know, because QuickBooks have different kind of subscriptions. Once you have an idea of, you know, like the size of the company, the industry and all that stuff, then you can, okay, say the client, okay, I'm gonna recommend you QuickBooks Online Accountant, QuickBooks Plus, you know, any of those. Then the customization, you know, like if you choose QuickBooks Accountant tool, I have QuickBooks Accountant tool, then the accountant has access to it, and there's like some limited people that can have access to QuickBooks Online. Then training and inventory. Yeah, and then once this is done, then that's when you will feel more, I guess, prepared to do training, to train your client, you know, about the usage of QuickBooks Online. And you guys can talk like who is gonna do what, because as I said, everything depends on the kind of client, the kind of industry. Sometimes it's just like the business owner. So it's easy to work with the business owner because it's just the bookkeeper and the business owner. But if it's a company that has more employees, that has payroll involved, then, you know, then you guys have to figure it out and see how are you gonna work with it. Okay, so any questions about this? I'm just gonna show you something that is called the new checklist client, which I think is very important. I don't even know if people knows about this Excel sheet, but I'm just gonna show it to you. And, you know, I could email the coordinator or send her so they can, you know, send it to you, because I think it's very useful. Let me just check here where this spreadsheet is.
We have a question. What is the difference between QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Offline?
Oh, well, QuickBooks Online, you know, is obviously when you have internet connection, you can work from anywhere, you know, as long as you have a laptop. QuickBooks Online gives you the flexibility to work on your clients' books anywhere you are in the world. And QuickBooks, not online or desktop, you can use it just on the computer that you are using in your desktop. It's QuickBooks Desktop. It's actually, that's the software where I learned everything about QuickBooks. It's QuickBooks Desktop. Basically, you install the software in your computer, and you know, just install the software, but you can only use in that particular computer. Is it clear? Is it clear for the person that was asking that, or? Okay.
I think that is clear.
Okay. All right. So now let me see. Just this spreadsheet that I was just talking about. It's just very useful. Let's see, where is it? Okay, downloads. Let's see. I'm just gonna. Okay. 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 You know, because of time reasons, I think I'm gonna go into QuickBooks Online, into my QuickBooks Online, so I can show it to you. And then by the end of the class, I'm gonna look for the spreadsheet and show it to you. Okay, just see overview. Can you see my QuickBooks Online?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So this is QuickBooks Accountant. And usually when you subscribe on Accountant, it usually has this bar here that says Accountant Tools. Some other QuickBooks subscriptions don't have this, you know, these little here Accountant Tools option. So it's very easy to navigate the software when you have this. Okay, I'm just gonna give you like an overview. You guys have any questions, please let me know. But this is basically the overview is the main page, right? Where you have money in, customers, product or service, estimated invoice, recurring invoice, when you receive payments, sales receipts, bank deposits, and payment links. You can also send an invoice to a customer with a payment link, so you can get paid through QuickBooks. It's a very you know, easy way to get paid. I think it usually takes between 3 to 5 business days for the money to you know, to show on your QuickBooks. Some other people prefers to use different, you know, ways of getting paid. Like usually when I start QuickBooks, learning everything about QuickBooks, usually the clients will send a check and you know, like we need to record the check into the system, into QuickBooks Online. Yeah, and you know, but as the time goes by and everything has become like, you know, like with technology, everything is online. So that's why QuickBooks has implemented new features in the software to make things easier for their clients. So I've been using these payment links for a while. It's very, you know, good because you send the invoice, you send already with the payment link, and then client receives the invoice with the payment link included, and they just can pay you, you know, through that. I'm just reading some questions that I'm having here. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's a question. That's what you asked. What is the difference between QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Offline, which I, you know, already explained. QuickBooks Offline would be QuickBooks Desktop. So you basically download the software, QuickBooks Desktop, into your computer, and that's you know, that's what it means. Okay, desktop is what gets used for, yeah, what is referred to as online, offline. Yes. Can we get a free downloaded version for desktop practice? I believe there is, but I can take a look at that, you know, and see if there is a free desktop version.
I just looked online for that, and
yeah,
QuickBooks says no, there is no free version. There's only a 30-day free trial
for
QuickBooks. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, here it says, Emmanuel, there is no free version of QuickBooks. Oh, okay, yeah, only a 3-day, okay. Okay, what is the difference? It's a lot of questions. What is the difference between recurring invoice and invoice? Okay, an invoice, you can create it, you know, under the client, you know, client option. You know, I mean, invoice is basically what you bill to your client for the services that you provide. You bill to the client for that in order to collect money from the services that you provided. A recurring invoice is, for instance, if you agree with a client, let's say, to provide your services every month, and you guys arrange to, you know, like you will charge, let's say, $1,000 each month, or every 3 months, or every 3 months. So in order for you to like create the invoice every time that you work for that client, you can set up under clients a recurring invoice with the date that you are going to send the invoice to that client in order to get paid. So you don't have to create the invoice. You only recurring invoice. You only set up that invoice. It's gonna be like a reminder, like every first of the month, let's say. You bill a client, like I say, $1,000 each month for work that you do for that client. So it's gonna pop up in QuickBooks like a reminder each month, the first of each month, that you have to bill that client. So QuickBooks basically lets you know, we let you know that, or we remind you that the first of each month you will bill that client. So you don't, I don't know if that makes sense. So you don't have to go and create an invoice. You just can create a recurring invoice. Like you said here, exemplify it. Okay. So let's say we go to sales here. Sales. And then let's go to invoices. Let's see. Okay, let's see one of my clients. I'm gonna give an example for one of my clients. Let's go to customers. Let's go to customers or clients. Where is that? Sales, okay. Okay, here are some of my clients. So let's say if I want to create one invoice for, well, okay, I'm gonna create an invoice here. First of all, I go to sales, and then I go to customers. Okay. If we click this arrow here, sometimes we can see the different options that it gives us for or the things that we can do, you know, with a client. So just to show you, here are created estimates. It's for more complex clients, this part. But let's say we're just gonna create an invoice. Internet, it's a little slow. Apologize for that. It's so slow. Just here. Let's see if I can create invoice. It's being created. See if I can just refresh this. Should be created invoice. Let's see. See. Okay, here it is. Okay. So let's say that I'm gonna build this client for services that I perform. So here, I'm gonna put the name of the business or under customer. I'm sorry, this is very slow, my internet here right now. Okay, so forgot to business. So here, I mean, this client, actually, I get paid not through QuickBooks. Usually they sell it to me, or, you know, they make a transfer to my bank account. So that's why I don't have all his information here, because, you know, he pays me not through QuickBooks. So here, okay, I put the net terms 30 days, the invoice date, you know, the date that I create the invoice. So this is what I think Mohammed was asking about, create recurring invoice. So we click in here. Let's see. Okay, creating. Okay, date. All right. So in the meantime, so I just want to know. I just want to know how this invoice will show after I create it. So on service date, we need to fill it out all this information. Okay. So we fill it out all this information, service date, let's say today's date. A product, service, this is something that we're gonna talk about on the next class, how to set up the product and services. But for instance, for this, in my case, okay, hours. I can put also sales, because that will take us to this is important to set up the product and service, because this is connected with the income that it will show on the profit and loss statement. Okay. So description, if you want to put description, I don't know, like let's say if I work for the month of May, it's very important to put this, because then you can go back if you need to and see, you know, what you did. Here, quantity. Okay, let's say I work 5 hours for this client. And the rate, see, like, let's see, I charge this client 35 an hour. So the amount comes up as $175. You know, I don't have to add sales tax. I think, you know, it's yeah, because it's QuickBooks, you know, services. I don't know, depends on the state. You have to pay certain percentage of taxes. But it's better if you find out what, you know, what percentage of sales tax for a particular state. Okay, so then here I click save, because I'm gonna create my invoice. I'm not gonna send it, I'm just gonna create it. Okay, there's something that she's here. You must select a customer. Okay, you must select a customer. It's here. Business. Okay, let me just oh, you must select a customer. Let me see what is invoice here. You must select a customer. QuickBooks sometimes is, I click select customer. I mean, I put the customer in, it's asking me for, okay. One second. Okay. Where's my, okay, where's my, okay, here. Okay, let me just click here. If there's something, you know, like wrong, these kind of messages appear, it's better just to not save what you were doing, so you can go back and see what is going on. Do you want to leave without saving? No, let me see if it lets me save. I don't know, not quite sure why it doesn't let me save if I put all the information in. So just 1 second. Okay, save. Enter. All right. So, you know, just right now, just to show you basically about the question that you were asking about recurring invoice. So once you create the invoice and put all the information in, this is what you need to look at it. Make recurring. Yeah. So it's gonna take us to recurring invoice. Template name. And you can put any name, like the name of that business, for instance. Let's see, Bugatti business. So it's gonna ask you here the type schedule, reminder, or unscheduled. So you put schedule because you're gonna, let's say, invoice this client the first of each month. So when do you want your invoice, recurring invoice, to be created? Let's put it like 2 days in advance. Quickbooks will pop up a message, saying that this invoice will be created the first of each month. So here, customer, we put the name of the customer. We put here the email, whatever email address your customer gave you. Then we click here under options. It says automatically send emails, print later, or include unbilled charges. So it depends. You don't have to actually, put anything if you don't want. It depends on the arrangement that you have with your client. I wouldn't recommend automatically send emails, because let's say like you are handling different clients, and then you set up this recurring invoice. But then, something happened, I don't know. And then you automatically send emails, and then you cannot do anything about it if you send something that maybe wasn't supposed to be sent or something. So if you want, you can do this. You can print you can click on it, on any of these options, but I will advise not to. So here on online payments, so that's what I was mentioning a little bit before. You can get paid, through QuickBooks. And this is how you set up the online payments. Like this little button has to be on, because it means that you accept cards, that you accept bank transfers, whatever, like your client, the arrangement that you have with your client. So we go to here to edit. And it's very important. Obviously, right now I have all this stuff on my, QuickBooks, but before it was off. So you always want to make sure that this is checked in. So you accept any payment method, basically. If they pay with a credit card, if they pay with the bank account, or through any other method. Okay, so here it says interval. Like it said, if it's gonna be the first of each month, like it says here, monthly on day 1st of every month. The start date, by the 5th maybe of each month. So he said by the 5th of each month is when you can, by that time, you can get paid until the 5th of each month, whatever it is. But I usually put none actually here. Depending how specific you want to be, but sometimes it's just time consuming actually, What else? Okay. So this is how you set up a recurring invoice for Mohammed that was asking about this. So then you save the template. Once you put all the information in, you just save the template. Let's see if it saves. Do you have any questions so far?
Yes, we have 2 hands raised. Are you ready to take questions? We'll start with Bokang.
Okay. Oh. Frank, okay. Oh, Bukan, okay.
Yes, so I just want to ask a simple question. Do we pay for this software or is for free?
You have a 30 days trial. You have 30
Yes.
days trial free 30 days.
Yes. Okay. How much maybe the average cost per month in US dollars?
How much is in when if you
The
purchase
average cost, the average price we should pay maybe per month.
per month? It depends on the kind of software that you want to use. It depends, but let's say I don't know if you want like the basic version of QuickBooks online. I think it's $25 each month. I'm not really certain about that because actually I thought that I was gonna to, like show you in the next class about that. But I think it's about that I can. Yeah, I was going to prepare that class for the next. But
Okay, thank you.
yeah, I think it's like 25.